whatever he was trying to achieve, it's backfired.
It certainly has. And I think there's a couple of points it's interesting. Obviously, he's once again kind of talking about private family matters, to the media. And this is something that the royal family don't really do. They certainly don't encourage it. And I'm thinking the palace must be kind of sitting here thinking, what do we do with this? Because he's obviously saying that he wants this reconciliation, which doesn't surprise me at all. I'm sure he's probably thinking that mistakes have been made. And I have no doubt that he wants to go back. But, there's been so much damage done. It's hard to understand how that would even if his father wanted to, it's the royal family, it's not any other family. And secondly, the fact he's talked about, publicly saying he doesn't know how long his father's got left. That's really confidential information. I mean, we're all aware that, sadly the king's battling this cancer, and as so many of us know, it's a terrible battle with so many people, but it's a private thing, and they want to keep it private. And I think Harry giving that information I just think that's a little bit unfair.
Grant, you've worked with the royal family for long enough. You know how they deal with these things. I mean, how do you think the king will be feeling about what Harry has had to say? I mean, as someone who lost her own dad to cancer, I found that the most shocking thing to come out of the whole interview.
Yes, Don, likewise, I lost my mother to cancer, and she fought it privately. She didn't want it. I didn't want it to be a public thing. I think the king will definitely feel betrayed, is what I think. I think he'll feel betrayed because this is confidential information that Harry's discussed with the media. And you must have been aware that using those words, everyone's going to think, well, how serious is it? And what does that mean? And of course, it opens up a whole, I'm sure we're all now wondering what's going on. But of course, the palace are never going to release that information. It's private. It's like the late Queen and...
But this is the problem, Grant, isn't it? That it becomes a one-sided conversation. I mean, when he says, my father won't talk to me...
Yes.
I mean, now we're sort of hearing through back channels, well, that's because it's not that he doesn't want to talk to him, it's just he's not sure how much of it will ever get leaked out. But again, it's what we get one side of the argument.
You're absolutely right. This is the problem, is that I'm sure his father's thinking, but if I do say something to him, or we do give some more information, is that going to be in the next book? Is that going to be in the next TV programme? This is the reality of it. And I just don't know why, hand on heart, I knew Harry really well. I knew the family well. I knew how close they are. I just don't understand what's going on. I'm as confused as probably you are. I don't really know what Harry's trying to achieve. And, his grandmother... we know died during all this going on. And the worst thing I could imagine is, God forbid, but if the king did pass on, can you imagine, this whole upset still continuing, and we've lost potentially, that if he's lost his grandmother and could lose his father, what's that? I just don't understand what he thinks he's going to achieve. That's what I don't understand. Sorry, it's just a very, very strange situation, I think.
No.
They just can't let it go, can they? Here we are again, watching yet another tired, hollow attempt by the royal media machine to breathe life into a narrative that's been crumbling for years. A narrative that's built entirely on bitterness, jealousy, and the inability to accept that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle walked away from the palace, and they thrived. Now the headlines are screaming about Harry and William being forever estranged, like it's some kind of royal tragedy, some catastrophic family fallout that should have all of us weeping into our Union Jack flags. Please, let's not be fooled. What's really going on here is yet another campaign to shift blame, stir drama, and punish the one royal who had the courage to leave the royal fantasy behind. And that royal is Harry. This time, they're trotting out the usual suspects. Former royal butler Grant Harold, who hasn't served the crown in years, is suddenly the voice of King Charles's emotional state. He's suggesting His Majesty feels betrayed by Harry's recent BBC interview, as if Charles, the same father who left Harry twisting in the wind during one of the most vile press assaults in modern royal history, has earned the right to feel betrayed. No, sir, the betrayal didn't come from Harry. It came from the institution that refused to protect him or his wife when the wolves closed in. Then we have Jenny Bond, another relic from the days when Diana was still alive, stepping up to pronounce that Harry and William may never reconcile. She paints a picture of a future where William sees his brother as irrelevant to his life and to this country. Irrelevant? That's laughable, because Harry has done more to touch lives, to inspire real change, to connect with people around the world than William has done with all the crown jewels and photo ops at his disposal. You want to talk about irrelevance? Let's talk about a monarchy that's hemorrhaging public support while clinging to outdated traditions. Let's talk about a future king more known for his temper and his tantrums than for any real humanitarian legacy. And then let's talk about Harry, who built the Invictus Games from the ground up, who serves veterans with dignity, who's spoken openly about grief, trauma and healing, and who's chosen love and integrity over power and status. So no, Jenny, Harry is not irrelevant. He's just inconvenient. To the firm, to the monarchy, and to people like you who've made careers out of clinging to the palace gates, desperate to stay part of the royal conversation. Let's not forget, this whole forever estranged storyline only exists because Harry told his truth. That's it. He spoke out. He said, "This hurt me." He said, "They let my wife suffer." And for that, he has been treated like an enemy of the crown. Meanwhile, the real enemies, the racists, the leakers, the manipulators, are protected, rewarded and paraded around like national treasures. Now we're being fed another round of speculation that Harry and Meghan might lose their titles. How many times have we heard this? How many times have they dangled this petty little threat in the air, like it actually means something? Let me be very clear. Harry and Meghan do not need those titles. The titles are clinging to them. Because without Harry and Meghan, Sussex was just a county. Now it's a brand that stands for truth, freedom and transformation. It's a name tied to resilience, to survival, to love. Meghan made it clear in that moment with Mindy Kaling when she gently said, "I'm Sussex now." That wasn't about ego. That was about identity. That was a woman who has been dragged, attacked, lied on and dehumanized, standing tall and saying, "This is who I am, this is who we are." She wasn't talking to the media, she was talking to her children, and any mother understands the power of that. When you say, "I share my name with my children," you are claiming your place. You are building legacy. That's not arrogance, that's power. But of course, Jenny Bond and her friends don't understand that kind of power. They only understand the power that comes from proximity to the throne. They're so obsessed with protocol and hierarchy they can't comprehend the revolutionary act of choosing peace over prestige. They're also quick to bring up that Meghan still uses HRH, even though it was agreed they wouldn't. But let me ask you, who's enforcing these rules? The palace? The same palace that was silent when Meghan was racially abused on the front pages of British tabloids? The same palace that allowed palace aides to call her Duchess difficult and fed the press every scrap of misinformation they could find? The truth is, they kept things vague on purpose, because vagueness creates chaos. Vagueness allows the press to keep spinning. If they really wanted to make a clean break, they would have. But they didn't. Because they need Harry and Meghan to keep the press machine running. They need a scapegoat. They need someone to blame for the fact that the royal family is increasingly viewed as out of touch, outdated and deeply dysfunctional. What they didn't expect was that Harry and Meghan would land on their feet. They didn't expect Archewell to be a success. They didn't expect Meghan to dominate Spotify's charts with her podcast. They didn't expect Invictus to become a global movement. They didn't expect the Netflix documentary to break streaming records. And they definitely didn't expect the American public and much of the global audience to rally behind them. And now they're panicking. Because every time Harry and Meghan succeed, it exposes the failure of the royal institution to protect and support its own. It reminds people that royalty is not about bloodlines, it's about humanity. So when they say Harry and William are forever estranged, maybe they're right. Maybe that's not something to mourn. Maybe that's just what healing looks like, because the truth is, not every family needs to be reconciled, especially when reconciliation means returning to a system that harmed you. Sometimes love means walking away. Sometimes growth means choosing distance. And sometimes the greatest gift you can give your children is a life free from toxicity. Harry made that choice. Meghan made that choice. And for that they have been vilified, attacked and dismissed. But still they rise, still they thrive. And that is why we stand with them. That is why the Royal Sussex Squad exists, to cut through the noise, to push back against the lies, to uplift what matters, truth, love, family and freedom. So if you believe in that too, if you are tired of the hate, the racism, the double standards, then stand with us. Stand with Harry and Meghan. Share this message. Make your voice louder than theirs, because every single time we tell the truth, we chip away at the old narrative. And every single time we lift them up, we remind the world that they are not alone. Prince Harry may be forever estranged from Prince William as royal family rift continues. Former royal butler, Grant. Harold believes King Charles will feel betrayed by Prince Harry's recent interview. The apparent feud appeared to be rekindled by Harry's latest BBC interview. The possibility of a reconciliation between Prince Harry and Prince William appears to be bleak, according to a leading royal expert. The two brothers have remained almost entirely apart since Harry and his wife Meghan Markle stepped down as working royals and moved to the US in 2020. Since then, there has been great speculation on how their relationship might change when William eventually succeeds King Charles on the throne, with some even suggesting Harry and Meghan could be stripped of their titles. For royal expert Jenny Bond, that outcome seemed unlikely, but she could foresee a future where the royal brother remained apart forever. Jenny Bond speculated that Harry and William may remain forever estranged. Getty. William may remain estranged from his brother forever, even though this would be a very sad state of affairs, she explained to the Mirror. She suggested that their relationship would not heal, and William would continue to see his brother as irrelevant to his life and to this country. The possibility of a reconciliation between Prince Harry and Prince William appears to be bleak, according to a leading royal expert. The two brothers have remained almost entirely apart since Harry and his wife Meghan Markle stepped down as working royals and moved to the US in 2020. Cardiologist. How to quickly lose a hanging belly. Sponsored cardiologist. How to quickly lose a hanging belly. News. Health Intel co-founder Gordon Moore's Japanese-style Hawaii home, selling to benefit family foundation. Sponsored Intel. Co-founder Gordon Moore's Japanese-style Hawaii home, selling to benefit family foundation mansion. Global. Since then, there has been great speculation on how their relationship might change when William eventually succeeds King Charles on the throne, with some even suggesting Harry and Meghan could be stripped of their titles. For royal expert Jenny Bond, that outcome seemed unlikely, but she could foresee a future where the royal brother remained apart forever. Advertisement. Prince Harry, Prince William. Jenny Bond speculated that Harry and William may remain forever estranged. Getty. William may remain estranged from his brother forever, even though this would be a very sad state of affairs, she explained to the Mirror. She suggested that their relationship would not heal, and William would continue to see his brother as irrelevant to his life and to this country. Victorian vicarage in the English countryside on the market for the first time in 50 years. Sponsored Victorian vicarage in the English countryside on the market for the first time in 50 years. Mansion Global. The apnea trick doctors won't tell you about. I couldn't believe it works. Sponsored. The apnea trick doctors won't tell you about. I couldn't believe it works. Health. News people amazed. I asked the super rich what they attribute their success to. All of them mentioned. Sponsored people amazed. I asked the super rich what they attribute their success to. All of them mentioned Blinkist magazine. How does the loan approval process work for small businesses? Sponsored. How does the loan approval process work for small businesses? Bike Kibat. The sobering verdict came with the assurance that William would not trouble himself, was revoking Harry and Meghan's titles. Bond acknowledged that outside of the royal family there did appear to be some public appetite for the move. Bond did not believe William would remove Harry and Meghan's titles. Getty. However, she was confident the move would be perceived as quite vindictive, regardless of any backing. Even still, she questioned the legality of such a bold notion, and if it was even in the power of a monarch to do. Some titles could be removed on the will of the sovereign, but the universal view is that to strip someone of their peerage demands an act of Parliament, the former BBC royal correspondent said. This would then require a willing government, which Bond was confident would be more focused on more pressing issues. The expert believed Harry and Meghan would be particularly wounded about losing their titles. Getty. On a human level, Bond also added that Harry and Meghan would be hurt and angry at losing their titles. This was patricianly apparent as the Sussexes appeared wedded to the idea that their children should use their royal titles. Meghan, who also continues to use HRH in contradiction of royal protocol, is evidently also attached to the Sussex name. During a moment of her Netflix series, the Duchess corrected actress Mindy Kaling on how she should be referred to. In a viral moment, Meghan made clear she wished to be referred to as a Sussex Getty. "It's so funny too that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know, I'm Sussex now," Meghan said in the now viral moment. The Duchess then explained the significance of the name change, adding, "You have kids, and you go, 'No, I share my name with my children.'" Kaling appeared to take the correction in stride, nodding in agreement and responding, "Now I know, and I love it." Her response seemed to perfectly tee up Bond's analysis of the hypothetical American reaction to Harry and Meghan losing their titles. It would inevitably reduce their standing, particularly, perhaps, in the eyes of the American public, who seem to adore royalty. "But I simply do not think that this is going to happen," the expert declared. And if you love what we're doing here, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Click that super thanks button if you want to support this work and help us keep going. Your support means the world. It helps us shine a light on the truth and keep this community strong. This is Royal Sussex Squad, and we are not backing down. We see through the lies. We protect our own, and we speak truth, loud, proud and unstoppable. Until next time, take care of yourselves. And remember, we stand with Harry and Meghan today, tomorrow and always.